Howdy there. A few days ago, I saw A Dangerous Method, and I enjoyed it. It was okay. I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 7. There's two extenuating circumstances. I would like to say that in the future, I think this movie will only get better. I can't wait to watch it again. Just so I can appreciate it some more and think about it. It is definitely a head scratcher. You know, you have to think about it. It pretty much commands you to think about it. But, two extenuating circumstances. One, I'm a big David Cronenberg fan. I think he is an American master. I think he's one of our giants of film. I think he's a prophet. I think he's a genius. He pretty much doesn't make bad movies. Like, he may not make, like, movies that you get right away. He may not make movies that are action-packed. He may even make movies that disgust you. But they will always affect you somehow. And they're always done with the utmost artistry. So I really think he is, again, one of America's great filmmakers, one of the world's great filmmakers. And I consider myself a big fan. In a way, watching A History of Violence in the theater, it's, I don't know how, what other phrase to use, but it just kind of changed my life. I think A History of Violence is one of the great movies of the last decade. I think it's just one of the great movies, period. That might be, like, for my taste, Cronenberg's masterpiece. I haven't watched it in a long time, and just sitting here talking about it makes me want to watch it. But I got into Cronenberg through Christopher Walken. I'm a big Christopher Walken fan. He's one of my idols. And I pretty much in my youth absorbed all of Christopher Walken's performances, which eventually brought me to The Dead Zone, the movie where he would be later spoofed so well on Saturday Night Live, where he touches people and he can see their immediate future. That's a David Cronenberg film, based on a Stephen King novel. I love that movie. I own that movie. It's been a while since I've watched it, but that was my introduction to Cronenberg, and I was pretty much hooked. He also did The Fly, Videodrome. I mean, Crash. He's done a lot. He's been around for a while. So, long story short, too late. My expectations might have been a little up. I was pumped. I was excited to go and see the new Cronenberg. So perhaps my expectations got the better of me. The other extenuating circumstance was I wasn't in the best mood. I was kind of out of it. Maybe I shouldn't have even gone to the movies. Maybe I should have sat in my room. It was just one of those kinds of days where, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it, just wasn't feeling it. But this was pretty much the last opportunity I had to see the film before going on vacation, and I had the day off, and it needed to be seen, so I saw it, and I just couldn't keep my mind still. I kept getting distracted, very much so. So I can't wait to watch the film again with more attention paid to it and, just in a better mood. But obviously I recognize that the film is very good. It's slow. It's not even 2 hours. I want to say it's like an hour and 50. It's very slow. There's practically 3 people in the movie. I mean, 3 people dominate the film, and even most, there's like a cast of 5. There's like 3 major characters and 2 minor characters. But and usually just seeing 1 or 2 of them just either talking to themselves, narrating, or reading a letter, or just talking to each other. The point is they're talking. You know, the film is about the birth of psychoanalysis. It takes place in the early 1900s, pre-World War One. We have Sigmund Freud, who's played by Viggo Mortensen. We've got Carl Jung, who's played by Michael Fassbender. We have a patient who would grow into being her own therapist or psychologist, I'm not sure of the term, played by Keira Knightley. And those are the 3 main characters. They dominate the film. We also have 2 other characters. One, we have Carl Jung's wife. I can't think of her name, nor the actress who played her. I didn't really find her familiar. And then we have Vincent Castle, who is playing also a patient of Freud's, who would become his own psychologist. And he's only in the film very briefly, but he makes an impact. Anyway, so this film is about talking, you know, trying to cure the ailments of the mind through discussion and analysis. It's also about sex. Really, I think the film is about the human mind. You know, what makes us tick. Specifically self-destruction. Self-destruction is a big theme in the film. And, well, being human, you know, very self-destructive. So I think it's kind of just trying to break down, in Cronenberg's style and in his way, the workings of the human mind. At least, you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, it does have sex. I really can't call it sexy. You know, it's kinky. There's a lot of pain in this movie. You know, there's a lot of pain. Again, usually self-inflicted. So it's not like, honestly, you don't like get to see 2 people in love, like express their love. You get to see like 2, you know, it almost seems like 2 mental patients trying to get through life, and, you know, spanking each other if they need to. All the acting is phenomenal. That's by far the highlight. You know, if you know, are distracted with all the talking. See, that's the thing is, you know, they sit there and they talk about, you know, the flaws of the mind and you know, what's wrong. And it's like the film is talking to you. And then, so you just kind of think, oh, well, I'll tell you what's wrong. And so at least I started thinking about everything that's wrong with me. And, you know, I wanted a little therapy. But yet the screen could not talk back to me. So again, I had a really hard time staying focused. Because, well, you know, you got people up on the screen, you know, talking about their intimate mental problems. And, you know, you want to share too. You want some help. But you don't get any help. Keira Knightley, for me, can hardly do any wrong. I think she's absolutely beautiful. You know, I have stopped ranking women. You know, I used to have like a top 5 most beautiful women in the world. I don't do that much anymore. But Keira Knightley has got to be near the top. Top 3, easily for me. You know, I just look at her and like I'm transported to another place. So I was also very distracted by her and her effervescent beauty. She really goes, you know, all in here. She has probably, no doubt, the most demanding role in the film. She has a lot of ground to cover. Her performance starts as almost animalistic. And, you know, she goes all in. Sometimes it's like, almost like you don't want to watch her because it feels too personal. It's like if you saw this person out on the street, or, you know, in a library or something, and she was who she was, you know, you wouldn't look at her. You wouldn't want to look at her, because it would disturb you, you know. But here we're forced to look at her. So it kind of, I mean, in a good way, is hard to watch. But she really goes all in, and for the most part, I, you know, believed. And, you know, she also has to fall in love. She has to get her heart broke. She has to rise from her madness to become her own self-respected psychologist. So she has a lot of ground to cover, and, again, did so believably. She nude in the film, God bless her. You know, she gets spanked in the film, God bless her. She's marvelous, so I will never say anything bad about Keira Knightley. Viggo Mortensen is cast against type here in a quiet, introspective role. I think he's very good. He's got some of the best lines. He's got, if you laugh in the film, see, that's how I knew I was distracted, is because a lot of people around me were laughing, and I was not laughing. And usually it's the other way around. Usually I'm the only one laughing. With The Dangerous Method, it was the other way around. Viggo Mortensen's very good. You know, I believed he was Sigmund Freud. Michael Fassbender, you know, he was Magneto. He's like blew up this year out of nowhere. I don't know where he came from, but he was really good here. He, you know, has a lot to do, too. He's practically in every scene. The movie is pretty much about him. And by the end of it, he's just absolutely destroyed. And he looks absolutely destroyed. And he is our main focus of self-destruction, I believe. You know, he... I don't know if I can quote it verbatim, but he gets the line, like, you have to do unbearable things just to go on living. And that's pretty much the theme of the film. You know, you have to do unbearable things just to stay alive, just to live. You know, and he really expresses that throughout the course. Vincent Cassel pops in, always very good. Vincent Cassel's great. The wife of Carl Jung was also very good. Those, again, your 5 basic cast members. Beautifully directed. I'm running out of time. One thing I enjoyed, you don't see too much in film anymore, at least I don't think. It's very old school. Is what I believe is called dual focus. It's where you have 2 different subjects who are, you know, some distance apart, and they are both perfectly in focus, and it's very unsettling. You know, you get to watch simultaneously the reactions, and in most cases, they don't get to see, you know, their own reactions. I mean, each other's reactions. They're not looking at each other's faces, but yet we are looking at both. Again, it's kind of unsettling. You get to experience both emotions simultaneously. Again, it felt very old school. I mean, a lot of the film was very old school. The production value really just takes you back to the early 1900s. Again, I'm officially out of time. I enjoyed A Dangerous Method. Can't wait to watch it again, but I'm going to stick with my solid 7. Thank you very much.